So hello everybody, welcome to this video. I want to talk about follow no guru. What do I mean with that? I think that the time of guru worshipping is really over or supposed to be over in our times. And why do I say that? You know, it's with a guru is a person that a lot of people revere, you know, for their spiritual qualities, for their spiritual knowledge, for their godliness, and it's really prevalent. It was prevalent in the past, and it's really still prevalent in India, and less so in Western society. And we have modern spiritual teachers who are not like gurus, but they don't call themselves gurus, but there's kind of the same thing going on in the energy a little bit. And I think that's a thing of the past because, first of all, we are all divine beings, and we don't need to worship somebody else's divinity in a way that we give away our own power, because that's what happens with a lot of gurus. The thing with gurus is you can have it in extreme ways like with cults, or you can have it in subtle ways like with modern spiritual teachers. There's this kind of dynamic where the guru is the know-it-all. He's in a position of authority. So this is what it's really about, is a position of authority, and an unhealthy authority over people, where they have followers which take every word that they say as gospel, as the ultimate truth. You know, and I'm not saying that it's wrong to have spiritual teachers. I do have some which I really like, but I might not agree with them on everything, and I do not agree with them sometimes on everything, but I still like them, their words, their knowledge, their energy, and I think they're really nice and good. So, you know, but some people revere the modern spiritual teachers as they are gurus of the past. You know, that they're like more, and people really give away their power. And, you know, some modern spiritual teachers, even famous ones, you know, take advantage of that. And it's about, you know, an authoritarian relationship in a way. You know, I think a true spiritual teacher would always leave you in your own power. A true spiritual teacher will always deny any worship. You know, a true spiritual teacher needs to have enough morality and ethics to you know, push away people worship of them, because people need to be in their own power. And spiritual teachers who accept people worshipping them and people giving them energy and power in subtle ways to strengthen their own ego and their own authoritarian relationship with them, that's like a guru. That's like not good. I'm talking about like the false gurus here. Of course, there were people called guru in the past which were probably really nice and really amazing. So I'm talking here about the people who have like actually more of an who might have a lot of spiritual knowledge and some spiritual qualities, but who have not who are not morally and ethically right, totally on the right path, I would say. One of the things you can recognize, like modern, you know, like spiritual teachers, which I would not recommend, false spiritual teachers. I'm gonna just name them false spiritual teachers, just to be easy in speech. But you know, that doesn't mean that everything they say is false, because you know, they can say a lot of truth, but still they might have some issues with authority and like people worshipping them. So one of the things you can recognize how, you know, spiritual teachers I wouldn't recommend is they form like an inner circle around them. You know, like it's with levels, you know, okay, now you go this level, and the highest level is where you're closest to the guru and you're part of his inner circle. That happens quite a lot. And you see it happening with you know, a lot you see it happening with males, and then there's like women around them, you know, they have or men which worship him, and you know, and they're like, you know, they're the idol, and they get worshipped in a way. And that's for me, that's not a good sign. If you have like somebody who like organizes this hierarchical structure around him, where you have an inner circle, and then you have, you know, level 1, level 2, level 3 and stuff, I don't like that. So that's one of the signs for me, like it's not okay. Another one is where they, you know, where there is like where they use people's trauma, because a lot of these spiritual teachers, they get people get into contact with them, people with trauma get into contact with them, and they in a subtle way they use people's trauma to strengthen their own position of authority. I've seen videos of famous spiritual teachers that I don't like, berating people in front of other people and really not treating them well, and supposedly they're acting out of tough love. But you can act out of tough love, but I can see like the dynamic going on is not healthy. So that's something to watch out for too. Always stay true to your own power. Don't expect somebody else to know it better than you. Yes, there are very nice people, with a high morality and ethics who can give you great advice. That is true. We don't need to be paranoid and run away from the really good spiritual teachers that are out there, some of whom I like, but always stay true to your own truth, to your own heart and to your own power, and never accept anybody's word as gospel. That is very, very important. We saw this like with Osho. Osho did a lot of. I see some quotes from Osho which are really great, and he wrote some books where there's really great stuff in. But if you look at that documentary that came out, I can't remember the name now. It slips my mind, but it's very famous. It's on Netflix, and there was not a lot of good stuff going on here with the circle around Osho, and it was really it was really bad. If you can watch that documentary. Really do it. I may put it in the link below because I can't remember it now. So, and another thing we need to remember, like with Osho, like these great spiritual people, is every guru or every spiritual teacher is also a person like you and me. Some people want to make them like into godlike figures or avatars. No, every incarnated person on earth, no matter how spiritually advanced they are, is a person. And every person has their good side and their like not so good side, in the sense that we're all human and we have all a little bit of a shadow side in ourselves. When we incarnate here to learn lessons and to grow, and that goes for the common people, so to speak, but also for these spiritual gurus. And common people don't exist in my eyes. We're all godlike beings. The thing we need to realize is it's not because somebody has a lot of spiritual knowledge that they are therefore really dependable and trustworthy. Some people have amazing spiritual knowledge, but they have some issues and they're really out for control and controlling people. That is a real possibility. It's not because somebody has a lot of spiritual knowledge that he has a lot of high ethics and morality. That's something we really need to be careful, and we need to know, and we need to be aware of. Some spiritual teachers have certain, shadow aspects in themselves that they need to work on, or that they suppress, and through their shadow they want to control people in subtle ways. Some gurus sleep with a lot of women. Some gurus like to really like control people and like to be treated like a god. And their ego gets too big, their ego gets out of control, and when their thirst for power and their ego gets out of control, that's when like they can be influenced by shadow beings and stuff, and that's a real thing that is possible. So every spiritual person, from the greatest master that ever lived to everyday people, so to speak, is an incarnated person, and we really need to be aware of that. So a lot of spiritual people who put themselves, present themselves as the guru, or they pretend to have more a connection to the higher realms, and some people might have, but you got to look for the energy. And usually, if you're discerning, you can spot it a little bit, where people are like really not, where people are genuinely, when people are genuinely like humble about it, and they have a great connection with spirit, but they're humble about it. They don't like do it to feed their ego. And then you have others who pretend to have it, who actually don't have it as much, but some of them usually are more famous. You know, some of the most famous ones are not. That's not because they're the most famous. They're the best. On the contrary, I think the best spiritual teachers are kind of famous, but they're not the most famous, in my opinion. That's what I feel. Because you know, some of the most. There, of course, there's people who are really famous. There are always, you know, exceptions to what I say and stuff. It's not a general rule, but there are some who are really famous who are, in my opinion, not so good. And not so ethically and morally nice in a way. So that's really something to watch out for. Is always never give your power away. That's like the most important thing, you know. A lot of people these days who are not into spirituality give their power away to governments. You know, we had seen during the health crisis of the last that we had the last 3 years, and a lot of people gave their power away to governments. But then, you know, it's no good if we give our power away to gurus instead of governments, right? That's a really, really important thing, is stay true to your own truth, stay true to your own heart, and listen to your own heart, and don't give your power away. Stay in your power. You know, take anything everybody says, run it through your own heart, through your own discernment filter, I call it. So the video got unexpectedly out. But I just wanted to say thank you. I was at the end anyway, and I just wanted to say thank you. Please subscribe and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.